excited. Danny couldn't be with us today. We are sad and we miss him, but we get it. Sometimes there's other things that come into play. So you got me and Kevin today.
Hi.
Say hey, Kev. You guys talk to the mic.
Hey, Kev. What?
Hey, Kev. So we want to give our favorite coffee shop a little shout out, Boot and Coffee. Shout out to Frankie. Frankie actually bought me a shirt, so I'm going to be starting to wear my Boot and Coffee T-shirt. I love it. So definitely hit it up. They got it's called the Coffee Den, which is down below. Really cool vibe. Frankie just has his finger on the pulse of like what's going on. And definitely check it out. They actually, Boot and Coffee was like voted #1 coffee shop on some article, and I was like, yeah, hello.
I'm there like 4 times a week.
I'm there like 2 to 3. I can't. It's like I do too. I love it. I love it. So anyway,
you want a Snapple fact of the day?
Yeah, I do.
Here, Barbie's full name, and we know Barbie.
I love Barbie.
I hate Barbie. Ken was my favorite. Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Get out, Barbara Millicent Roberts. True story. Hey, Cassandra, I miss you, honey.
Oh, it's reversed because, technology.
Where is your new studio? It's actually, Alan, it used to be our green room, but we moved the studio now to the green room side. We're downsizing a little bit.
As we do this.
So that's where we are.
Oh my God.
Hey, Andrea. What's up, Audrey
Moran?
Brown Helms? So anyway, I'm really excited because we're going to be interviewing this wonderful actress, LeeAnne Hutchison. She's actually doing, right now, this is actually cool, she's doing the East Coast premiere of, it's a play called FLINT, written by Jeff Daniels, and it's about the Flint water crisis.
Michigan. Do they still have water or no?
They are still in crisis. But but this is what happens to us as a society. We jump on something, right? We get all excited about something, and then we forget about it because something else comes along. But these poor people are still struggling with this water. It's terrible.
I don't like it. I mean...
So, LeeAnne and I met, and we'll talk about it when we interview her. We met on a web series. She was one of the stars, one of the leads. I think Diane, and she'll talk more about that. And I was background. I was featured in 2 scenes, but I got to take a burlesque class with her for the show because there was a burlesque scene. So we got to learn from Darlinda, who is an amazing burlesque dancer at the University of Burlesque in New York City.
So now my question is what is burlesque?
It's like striptease, but it's like a little bit. It's not like a stripper like going to high heels or something. It's it's the art of it's more teasing. So I learned a couple of moves, which was
like
fun.
Flirty.
It's flirty, but it's definitely a little risque. I got to film a scene in the famed Slipper Room, which is an awesome venue for burlesque. And do you know, guys, a part of me would love to become a burlesque dancer. I think I really would. I would. And you know what I love about burlesque? It is all different body types.
Wait, isn't your house a former brothel?
That's what we talked about last week. Supposedly, my house was a former brothel.
Formal brothel.
I don't know. I got to find out if that's true. That's what, because I remember I had my house cleansed because I'm one of those people. But yeah, I love burlesque. Like Gypsy Rose Lee in Gypsy, she was a burlesque star. So they would, you never really saw her nude. Although I think sometimes I don't know, because I thought in New Jersey you can't be nude and fully nude and serve alcohol. Don't quote me on that. But burlesque it's cool. It's like a little like cheeky. It's like a little cutesy, and like you'll bend over and then you'll step on.
Drag in burlesque?
You can do anything. I think you could do anything. You could do anything you want.
John
This is
Berg.
America. That's my cousin. Hey, John. You can do whatever you want. This is America. Ooh, I just my seat just dropped. That was so funny. So anyway, that's how I met LeeAnne, and she also she played Caliban, which is generally a male character in The Tempest. So she's going to talk all about that. And her husband's an actor, and she's just fabulous. Next week, we have Sammy K coming in, and he's a musician, and he has his record release coming up at Crossroads on October 4th. Then we have the week after, David O'Neill's going to come in, and I'm working on some other interviews. So we're really getting like a nice mix of people and artists who want to come in and talk to us and tell us their story. So what are you doing? What have you been up to? You had auditions?
I'm doing Beauty and the Beast at Centenary University.
Yes.
We had auditions. Oh, God, don't even get me started with how people audition. Like, we need like a good audition prep course.
Yeah, I do think people do need that. I agree. I think people need that because I think...
I don't like when people come in and sing a cappella. I want to hear you sing to the piano.
Well, because not that it's easy to sing a cappella, but you want to hear them match pitch. You want to hear them right?
And half the people can't.
No, I don't think I could. Sometimes I think I'm singing on key, and then I'm like, I actually think I'm off key. Can I sing?
A lot of people love... Hi, Julie. Julie,
I know.
Wardrobe.
I know.
In Beauty and the Beast.
Julie, you have to come in here. By the way, I was gonna actually send you a text and be like, let's try and get you in studio. I don't know when you're back. And I know you're in rehearsal for something else, but
I think she's back the end of September.
Okay, so like soon. So Julie, let's plan you coming in because you have had a busy summer. And yes, congratulations on getting the wardrobe in Beauty and the Beast. So fun.
Yeah, Julie's gonna kill it.
Oh my God, totally.
They love her at Centenary.
She's amazing.
But yeah, no, we start rehearsal next week for it, and it opens the day after Thanksgiving for 3 weeks in a row, like Wednesday through Sunday.
That's amazing.
It's like,
and it's a mix of the college kids and
Young Performers Workshop.
Oh, so but you have professionals because obviously Julie's in it.
We have 2 equity performers.
Right.
Osborne Foch, who's doing
I know.
Maurice.
You know who I know? I know his wife, Michaela.
Really?
I directed Michaela in Smell the Kill. Great play. I had her, Amy Griffin, and my friend Kathleen Clancy, and these women slayed it. Great play, ladies. The Smell of the Kill. Check it out. Anyway.
Well, so Osborne's doing Maurice. I don't know who the other equity actress, her name, but she's doing Mrs. Potts.
Fantastic. It sounds like you have like a great group.
And our Belle is a Centenary University student.
I love that.
She's wonderful.
That. I love mixing the students
Emily Bennett.
with the professionals because you know it's learning in the field, it's learning from people. Like Julie travels all over and does shows.
She's in Arizona now, right?
Yeah. She's doing Xanadu. We're just talking about you, Julie. No big deal. You got to come in and talk about yourself. No, I love that. I love that these professionals come in. And you know what? Professional doesn't mean just because that you're equity. So not that I'm taking away that
there's a lot of bad equity performers.
But it's not but there's a lot of great non-equity. So like, you know, to me, if you're on the road and you're doing it, you're a professional. You're on the road, you're doing it here. You know, that's it. So for these kids to be learning from all these great people, that's a huge education in itself. And you love being at the collegiate level.
I love it. Oh yeah.
I know you do.
I could never do high school again. I love college students.
Because A, they're adults. You don't have to deal with parents. I'm sorry, no offense, but sometimes, and I am a parent. I'm not an over the top in your face parent. I kind of like my kids to handle their issues or whatever they have themselves. I always say I will only get involved if I feel like you're in danger or if someone else is going to be in danger. But otherwise, life is hard, and I want you to learn these skills where you can, you know, manage yourself. But a lot of the times, I think parents, like if their kid doesn't get the part they want, or the biggest pet peeve of mine is they're only in the ensemble. Oh, I cannot. How do we, guys? Let's just talk about how important the ensemble is in a show. We need to stop poo-pooing on the ensemble. I love being in the ensemble because I love doing all the big dance numbers. I love singing all the great songs. You know?
I feel like people look at especially not just parents, but people look at it as a hierarchy, and it's like Beauty and the Beast. You have Beast, Belle, Gaston. Those are at the top of the hierarchy, and if somehow you do not get cast in those top roles, you're somehow beneath or less than.
No, and that's so not the case.
But that's just you have to fight your human narcissistic instinct.
You got to put the ego aside, and it's very hard, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And also knowing your type sometimes, and by type, I mean, like, I know that I'm not going to be Juliet. I mean, I'm old. But even in my youngest days, Juliet was not my character, but the nurse was. Or maybe Mrs. Capulet. And you know what?
Once you kind of Romeo and Juliet.
Right, Romeo and Juliet. But once you kind of know who your type is, but then and then fellow listeners, do you feel, but then you also want to go against your type. There's no science to it. And sometimes
there's no rules.
There's no rules. There's no science. Theater is life, and we're all walking around, different shapes, different colors, different talents, different gifts.
If you come into the audition room and you're just bad, you can't sing. The worst thing is eye contact. I have some people are just weird with eye contact when they come in. This one woman came in. I'm not going to say which audition, but she just came and stared at me at the piano. I don't know if she noticed me from YouTube or what the deal was.
Like
but
the whole
just standing
time
there holding
stared?
at the book. She handed in her resume and headshot, and then she comes up to me at the piano, and she just stands there with her music and just stares at me. She's like, I know you. I'm like...
Oh,
okay.
She obviously recognized you.
Yeah, but it's either I know you, I hate you, I want to kill you, or I know you, I love you, you're like, or they don't
Or maybe a little bit of both. Maybe she's not sure what to make of you because, Kevin has a pretty big YouTube following. You can go to what? Kevin, is it just Kevin M. Lynch on YouTube? Oh my God, don't eat with your mouth. Don't talk with your mouth full. Stop that.
Kevin Lynch and Jay.
Kevin Lynch and Jay on YouTube. Mm-hmm. On YouTube. And he has a huge following, and he gets a little salty. A little salty, a little sassy.
Oh, my God.
He offends people everywhere he goes.
But I don't care. I care about how people... Hi, Rick.
No, it's not that he doesn't care.
I love Rick.
Rick Marino. It's not that he doesn't care.
Julie's laughing.
Julie, help me out here.
I don't care about offending people because...
No, it's...
I don't seek to offend.
Right,
that's
what I'm saying. You're not like, I'm going to... You don't wake up and saying, I'm going to offend these people today. You're authentic to yourself.
It's like, who could I piss off? I mean, I don't go around
and people
doing
just
that.
choose to get offended.
Me being me naturally offends people.
Listen, I even got flack.
And that's okay.
When Kevin made some posts a while
Christian.
back. Hey,
How's
Christian
college?
Harvey. I got some, flack, and I was like, Kevin's my friend.
Whoa. For what?
For your post, we're not the post that shall not be named post. We all know about that post. And dude, stop it! Don't. You are too impulsive.
I'm on yours now.
I know. That's why I'm like, shut that. Mm-hmm. But I stick by you. Kevin and I talk about, like, honestly, we talk about philosophy, the universe, Buddhism. We talk about...
Like I say, offense is always taken, never given. Like, I don't seek to offend people. Because there's people who will find things funny.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
They'll find death humor or, like, satirical stuff funny. And that doesn't mean it's like a piece of artwork on the wall. Everybody has their own interpretation of what that means to them. And if offends you, it's not... The artwork is touching on something within yourself. It's not the artwork that's the offensive thing.
Right, it's something.
By that
it's a reaction. And did you hear that Justin Trudeau, by the way, the Prime Minister of Canada, they found pictures of him in blackface?
Oh, good for him.
So my point is, we all have skeletons. We've all done something. Yes, and now they said there's a third photo that just surfaced. They had one, and he's very upset with himself. He was at a party. And listen, I'm kind, and which isn't, listen, blackface is wrong. Do not do it. But it's just interesting because everyone loves Justin Trudeau so much. And that even this like saint, she wants to be in our video. Can we do that?
Who?
That's LeeAnne. Can we put her in the video?
Let me see.
Let's put her in the video. Let's see if this works. This is like, yep. Say yes. Approve. Is she here? Wait a minute. We're adding LeeAnne. Will we be able... If we can somehow...
Let's see if we break Facebook servers.
We're trying new things. I was going to call LeeAnne in 1 minute. But anyway, yeah. So that's been the hubbub out of Canada. By the way. It's adding. I think it's trying to add her. Should I call her too? Let's see what happens.
What time is it? I can't tell.
It's time for me to call her. It is definitely time for me to call her.
Christian Harvey.
And remember, you tagged her in that too, so you got to watch your mouth because it's going to be on her page too.
Oh,
seriously, you got to know your audience, dude. I treat him. He knows.
My audience is a bunch of.
Nope, not today. Not today. Watch your mouth. I'm going to call her.
It's like we're in Catholic school.
I'm going to call her. Not quite.
I'm eating a rat.
All right. I'm calling her right now on the phone.
She wants to be in my video.
Yeah, but it's not
letting... Yes.
Hit approve. Hey, we're trying to add you to our video, but I'm just going to pod you up and get you, so Lisa will be able to hear you. It says it's adding, but it's not working. You know, technology. Hold on 1 second, LeeAnne. It's crazy. All right, guys, so we're going to get LeeAnne on the air. I'm very excited to welcome.
I'm excited too. Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
I just had he was getting a little fresh. I said, listen, you're on her page too now.
Are you watching us on Facebook Live as well?
I'm trying. I'm sort of pushing buttons to see if I
Oh, yeah, it says we're trying to add you, but in the meantime, welcome to Chew the Scene, LeeAnne Hutchison. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys? It's nice to be here on your fun show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy we did this. When you were posting...
Oh, I saw you for a second. Hang on.
Wait, you did?
Oh, yes, I did for a second.
Try and do it again.
I'm going to try again because it's like an exciting idea that we would all see each other's faces.
I would love that because then it's like, I know, we get more interaction.
On the air. Okay.
So LeeAnne is an actress, fantastic actress. I was just saying how we took a burlesque class together for the other F word because I was one of the background in that scene, and that's how I met you through the show. And I have to tell you, I loved your character.
Thank you so much.
I love her.
I'm pausing for 1 second, Lauren, because now I'm talking to you and I'm watching the broadcast, but it's like there's a delay, and that's very confusing. So I'm just going to talk to you.
Yeah, talk to us.
But darn, I mean, it almost worked. Hey, I loved being on that show, too.
Oh, my God.
That burlesque class was such a trip, and the whole thing was, and you know, it's funny because actually like a theme that's been emerging again recently reminds me of that show and what I loved about it. And you know what? It's this.
I agree, Rick.
I read this online the other day. A theater company whose name is This Is Not a Theater Company. That's literally the name of their company.
I love that.
They do performative experiential theater, and they're about to do something at this place called Theater Lab in Manhattan that I love. Anyway, they were posting the following. They were saying this: the opposite of play is not work, but depression. And like this whole idea, and a lot of studies have actually been done about, you know, a lot of these horrible mass shootings and what is happening inside of a person who does such a horrible thing. And one of the things that's been discovered is an absence of play in that person's life. That there's this thing about a lack of play in people's, like, really not playing enough as you get older, and now you're an adult. You're supposed to be all serious and just work all the time and, you know, not play. Anyway, that show, The Other F Word, I thought was about women claiming, like, their playfulness in the experience of being alive at any age.
Well, that's what I loved about the series. I loved it. And you know what I loved too? Well, your character was just so much fun. I mean, they all were, because they all were so different, but you got to play in that series. And I think what I loved about it, because I knew Katha she had a movie called
Katha Gentis.
She's the best. Katha Gentis.
Yay, Katha Gentis, creator of that show.
So fierce, and, you know, the other F word, it's like, you know, it's fun, it's flirty, it's 40, it's 50. I mean, there's just so many things, and I think as women, we do feel those things get taken away from us because there's a societal expectation on what we are supposed to be. And I think doubly, that's with actors. For some reason, people don't take what we do in our profession. They say they take it seriously and they appreciate it, but at the end of the day, they don't, or they don't get, at least that's what I'm finding. Do you find that as a working actress? Because this is all you do. You are like going from bam, bam, bam.
You know, that's a really interesting question. I'm sure that I go through a whole cycle of noticing different ways that people respond to being an actor. And I think in my experience, it's almost across the genders. You know, it's like there's just what do I want to say about that? I mean, right now I'm in a phase where I feel a beautiful balance of being taken seriously and also being allowed to be an entertainer who is just having a good time,
right?
You know, and trying to entertain people, and so being also taken in a lighter vein, but being both. This show that I'm in right now is so fierce, and you know, Jeff Daniels is a great example. I mean, look at that dude, right? Dumb and Dumber. You know,
I
Dare
know.
was like a movie. Who took Jeff Daniels seriously?
And also Strange Brew.
Who doesn't take him seriously?
Wasn't
now?
he in Strange Brew? Him and Rick Moranis? Was that him? Hey, the Canadian movie? I know.
Yes.
And now he's like this
know.
prolific voice of of society, of politics. Yeah. So talk about the show that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, Lauren, have you and Kevin watched Newsroom?
Oh my! I watched the whole thing. Are you kidding me?
God.
I binged that show. Incredible.
And there he is on Broadway doing To Kill a Mockingbird. And I just heard the other day, everyone here is like, "Oh, we wish he would come see the East Coast premiere that we're doing of his play."
Yeah.
But someone said his cover, his understudy, has not gone on for him once.
Really?
So that's his work ethic. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like. Yeah, and he's such a funny man, but he's also a very serious person. Like he's both, and the play that I'm doing now is both. It's such a serious play, but also the people have a great sense of humor, and there are lots of funny things in the show.
So it's about Flint, Michigan.
It is. It's about two couples who are neighbors in Flint, Michigan, right before the state of emergency was declared. And you know, I'm going, God, was it 2015 or 14? I mean, the real problem began in 2014.
Right.
And our play is set right before it really got named as a state of emergency. So you see our characters drinking yellow water, talking about yellow-brown water in the play. Yeah. The final image of the play is this glass of horrible yellow water that is like on the table in its own spotlight. Like that's the final image of the play.
And you know what's sad about it is it's still going on.
Yeah, it's still going on.
They still have yellow water, right? They're still in this crisis.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still yellow, to be honest, but the problem is still going on. Yeah.
Now, so you're in this at Shadowland Stages. They do great stuff. Is this your first time there?
It's my first time. I have many friends in the business who have worked here and loved it, but it's my first time being on the stage here. It's a beautiful theater, and it's here in this area of the Catskills, there are all these little towns that are like laced together, and so you get an audience that's from miles around, but Ellenville itself, where I am and where the theater is just this tiny little town, with this street. The mountain is at one end of the street. The theater's halfway down the street. There's a couple of cool places to eat and have a beer and a glass of wine, and that's it, unless you drive.
I just sold I owned a property in Callicoon, which is very close.
Oh, really?
To where you are. I mean, I say close, and be like an hour or 45 minutes. Yes, I inherited 5 acres, but my cousin has a property right next door, and he's like, well, you can use my house whenever you want. So I decided to sell my property, but it's so cute. It's small town, like you said. There's like a bowling alley.
Yes,
I think like a little breakfast place to get, tiny food store. It's simple living, but the people aren't simple. They're not simpletons. It's just a smaller way of life, I think, than coming from the big city, right?
Yes, definitely. I've taken a couple of great hikes.
Yeah.
But, it is phenomenal that a theater that has, I'm terrible with numbers of seats, but it's just something like 170 seats in this theater. And they're full almost all the time. Brendan Burke, who has run it for so many years, who is playing my husband in the play. Oh. He had to step in because we lost an actor 2 days before we started rehearsal.
No way.
The actor,
a
wonderful, yeah, right? Drama. A wonderful actor who actually got cast in Teresa Rebeck's new play in New York City that's being produced by MCC, yeah. So he needed to do that, and the theater was like, oh, God, what do we do? And Brendan is a wonderful actor, but he wears so many hats here that he doesn't often step on the stage as an actor in the plays because he's doing everything else. He's directing and everything. He teaches. He's So but he's amazing, and his energy and organization behind this whole all the aspects of running a theater and getting the seats to be full on almost every night of the performances is just phenomenal. I don't know how he does it.
You know what? It's part of him. It's just part of his. It's his creative habit. I'm reading this new book. I was telling Kevin, Twyla Tharp's The Creative Habit, and I'm reading that now.
Oh, cool!
It's so great. So this is like what it's intrinsically a part of him. Now, LeeAnne, before you did this, you were just you just did Shakespeare, right?
I did, which I hadn't done for quite some time.
And you were Caliban. Can you talk a little bit about? I love the gender bending.
Me too. And this wonderful director, Marcus Dean Fuller, who oh God, I don't even know. I met him like over 10 years ago. He was in a Shakespeare play in Milwaukee with my husband, who's also an actor. So sometimes, I meet really cool people through his jobs.
Right.
So we met Marcus, and Marcus had been a soap star. He had been on many television shows when he was younger, and he did that and was had a great success out in California, out in LA, and then. But it never went away inside of him that he had this huge passion for Shakespeare. And so he left that world and went to the Yale School of Drama, which he was fortunate and talented enough to get into. And he studied Shakespeare very seriously, and he's really been doing it ever since. I'm telling you this because he directed The Tempest. He's the one who cast me. Yeah. He's now about to take over the leadership of the Saratoga Shakespeare Festival, which is where he has a home up there with his wife and kids now. And has this real, he has this love for the idea of people of any sex playing the roles, like not, being very gender blind.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. So my husband was already cast in The Tempest, and I was doing an Off Broadway play, a new play called God Shows Up, and
with Peter Filichia.
With Peter,
who I know,
Filichia, the wonderful Peter Filichia.
I know Peter.
What a great man. And what a fun play. I had such a great time. And we were doing that, and so Marcus thought, LeeAnne's busy, but at some point he called me and said, listen, it keeps coming back to me that I'm supposed to ask you this, so do you want to come play Caliban? Is there any way that could happen? And as it turns out, it was possible for it to happen because I had an amazing cover, Maggie Bofel, who had actually played the role I was playing before me, in that great way. It worked out that then she could step in and I could leave and go play Caliban and have this remarkable experience. So I was so happy he asked me, and that he's a leader, an artistic director, and a director who has that kind of vision for Shakespeare,
Do you... I'm sorry, no, I feel like I interrupted you.
No. Go.
So, so did you? Here's my thing, because did you play Caliban as a man or just as who you were?
Great question.
You know what I mean?
So yes, I do. So Marcus and I were very interested with Caliban in the idea that people watching. Our goal, in a way, in terms of gender identity for the character, was that we would love it if people wondered if I was male or female. Mm-hmm. So in our whole design, and our whole interpretation, from what I looked like to how I acted it, that's what we were interested in. We were interested in the gender ambiguity of that character, who, in the story of the play, that character was on an island all the way growing into adulthood without any other human being, except, I guess, his mother, his very strange mother, who died at some point quite some time ago. So there was his mother, but no other human beings, right? And until Prospero and Miranda get shipwrecked on the island, and I guess they've been there about 10 years.
Yeah.
By the time we see the play. So this character has not been socialized in any traditional way, And so we felt this human being wouldn't have the same, could potentially be extremely gender fluid.
Right.
Because why not? Know. That he wouldn't have been, they wouldn't have been, basing their own identity on anything that was already.
Yeah, there was no preconceived notion on what.
No preconceived.
On like what I should be. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so and I ask that because we are getting into a more gender fluid, society, and in theater, as well. So to the point when I'm reading, or if I'm reading a play, or I do musical theater as well, or listening to a cast recording, I don't even, I'm starting to not even see gender. For some roles, I will admit I'm still kind of like boy, girl, I mean, eventually that'll, I mean, I'll be honest, but like I've been listening to American Idiot again, and I'm like, St. Jimmy could be a woman. Why can't St. Jimmy be a woman? Like, you know what I mean? Because everyone has a little St. Jimmy. And I work at an all-girls school.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just as the choreographer. And we did Addams Family this summer, and all the roles are played by girls.
Yeah.
The girls don't care. They'll actually audition for parts. And I was watching their show this summer, and I couldn't believe how amazing they were, and how I forgot the sex didn't matter to me. I mean, they did play boy girl, like Gomez was a boy, but all that disappeared because they were so genuine and so honest with their roles that the sex didn't matter.
Yeah. Now, absolutely what you're saying, and I do want to say that that was our idea about this character of Caliban, which is why there was that gender fluidity. But I have a friend who just finished playing Henry IV out at Connecticut Rep, and it was definitely King Henry. They did not change it to a queen. Right. And when my mentor Olympia Dukakis played Prospero, she did not change it to Prospera. Right. To a woman. Now some people do. Right. And when Glenda Jackson just played Lear on Broadway, she was playing King Lear. Right. And Jane Hoodie-Shell was playing Gloucester. And they played men, and Shakespeare was always casting men as women. It could absolutely go the other way. Absolutely. 100%. Why not? And then at the same time, again, coming back to our production of Tempest, where I played Caliban, we actually did have a woman play the King Alonso, is who it is in Shakespeare's text. And in that case, we did change it to Queen Alonsa. So, and it worked beautifully to do that, and brought out other colors in the relationships of other people to the queen, to have a queen rather than a king. So that was a change that Marcus and we took the liberty to change, and it worked beautifully. So I think there's no one way, Right. No, I again, the world's not black and white. There's this whole beautiful, we have to embrace the gray. Yeah. Good. And we can make different choices about, yes, definitely, I'm a woman playing a man. Or we can say, I'm a woman, but let's change this to a woman, Right. Like both things can be equally super interesting in terms of the storytell. So.
LeeAnne, tell me a little bit, and me and Kevin, about God Shows Up. Because Peter Filichia, I know Peter from, he used to be the reviewer. Yeah. For Star Ledger for all the professional theaters in New Jersey. And I've had great reviews from Peter, and I've had not so great reviews from Peter. But that's showbiz, kid, right? Yeah, that's showbiz. Yeah, that's showbiz. But I would love to know, so tell us what the piece was about.
Yeah, so how, I've heard the story of how this play began, and the story is that this wonderful producer Eric Krebs, I don't know if you know Eric, he's a great guy, he's a true believer, and he's been producing theater in Manhattan for, I don't know, God, I want to say like 40 years, I don't know, something like this, and he and Peter go way back. So Krebs at some point, a couple years ago said, hey Peter, I dare you to write a play about religion, I'll produce it. And at some point Peter did that and brought it back to Eric and said, I wrote that play. and that was really the beginning of the play God Shows Up. They workshopped it with a wonderful cast that included, I don't know if you know these actors, but Lou Liberatore, who is just phenomenal, and Christopher Sutton. So it's a 4-character play played by 3 actors. Okay. So the woman gets to play 2 roles. Yeah. But Lou was the original God, and Christopher Sutton was the original preacher. So the setup of the play is that it's set in a the preacher is an interfaith televangelist. Okay. So it takes place like it's the recording of his TV televangelist show, and God comes on as a guest to be interviewed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's the setup. But then a lot of, I don't know, I don't want to curse on your show, but a lot of crap goes down.
Oh, you could curse.
I'm good. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. You're allowed to.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shitstorm.
Yeah.
The shit really starts to hit the fan when God's being interviewed, and a whole bunch of things happen, and it's not playing anymore, but I still feel like I don't want to spoil it for you in case you ever see it, because there's so many cool surprises.
In case it comes around again, right?
Well, God goes, I guess I'll spoil this one thing and just take for granted people will forget if they ever get to see it, which I hope they do. But God starts off as Lou Liberatore, as a dude, and a dude who really shows up in Levi's and a work shirt and is just like, what? You were expecting white robes, you know what I mean? And it starts off like this, and then at some point, all the power in the TV studio that the play is set in all the power goes out, and when the lights come back up, God is a woman.
Oh, I love it.
And says what the fuck? What did you expect? God can do anything. God could be anything. So speaking of gender fluidity, right? So there's that, and it just goes on, and then the preacher reveals his true identity as being something other than what he's presented, and it becomes really a very primal, in a way, battle of good and evil. Yeah, it does.
It's almost like did you ever see the movie Dogma? Because Alanis Morissette plays God.
Because a lot of what? Say that again?
I said Alanis Morissette in the movie Dogma. It's a Silent Bob and Jay movie. God comes, and it's Alanis Morissette who plays God.
Yes.
I'd like to see Oprah play God.
That.
Well, and there's
Kevin?
I want to see Oprah play God.
Oprah. Yeah, some people think she's God
already.
I know.
I know.
I was like, some
people
doing.
That's
true, LeeAnne.
She has an empire.
But listen, I mean, if you go by, if you go, God, I created man in my own image. So I guess if I met God, he would look like, or they would look like me. Or if you met God, I mean, God to me is energy. It's not a person. Yeah. It's almost like a metaphysical presence, it's more, because I actually had a friend who died and came back to life. I think I've told the story. And she was stung to death by bees, and they revived her. And when she came back, she's this amazing painter. And you could tell with her artwork that she's been somewhere. And she said, when you are not here, you're just fast moving energy through time. You're just, it's like matter. You know what I mean? And that's what I believe. And I do believe in God because, I have the ability to love. God is love. But, I wouldn't say I'm religious, because to me, spirituality is freedom. To me, religion is binding because I'm following someone else's decree. I make my own. But that's interesting. I love that there's this switch.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an important message for us down here. I think we need to break away from what we think that we need to be,
This conversation really makes me wish you'd seen the play.
Me too.
It was a trip, and Peter wrote all of the things you're talking about and that we're talking about into the play and into the argument of the play. It was really, just such a smart, as you would imagine, and funny play.
What are you doing now? I know you're doing Flint, but what's coming up after? Do you have a...
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I the cool thing, one kind of cool thing about working here at Shadowlands is that we play a 4-show week for the most part. So, sometimes they add an extra one, but it's Thursday through Sunday. It's a Thursday through Sunday performance schedule. Right. So I just came back from the city late last night, so that means obviously Sunday you can go back to the city and, we're just 2 hours up. So it's pretty easy. So I've been auditioning for new projects, and I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I love the auditions I've been having, which kind of goes back to what you're asking me about. Do I feel kind of taken seriously right now? And I'm in a good phase where I kind of do. I have these wonderful new managers for one thing, which has been great for me. We really get it. We really get each other. We're just on the same wavelength, and they seem to have their hand on the pulse for me in a way that's remarkable and has never been the case until now. So much in my career and so in my experience. So I, obviously so happy about that.
So
so auditioning for things, which is such a big part of the job of being an actor. You guys were talking about auditioning before.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's what we do.
That's the job, as much as doing the jobs that we get. The job is auditioning, and boy, if you stay in it as long as I have, any actor who stays with it, into their maturity, just has to make sense of that in some way. And I probably know 2 artists or actors do it the same way, but I am really enjoying auditions lately. Isn't that insane? I'm so glad to say that. I couldn't have said that for a long, long, long time.
Because I think a lot of people, the narrative is like, oh, I have to audition. Yeah. And if you go into it thinking like that, why are you going to get a role? But if you go into thinking I'm going to use I just found a new monologue that I'm going to start working on, and I love it so much. I'm very excited about it. So if you can get excited about the audition, and make it really about the audition as opposed, because I think people go into an audition, not everyone, thinking that they already don't have the part. You know what I mean? Like there's and I go on both sides of the table. I can read a vibe as soon as you walk in the room.
Yeah. You know what a big game changer for me has been, you guys, is I think now about what I have to offer to the role when I go in my whole formation of the audition, in my whole preparation. I think about, or I just set myself up to notice what I have to offer.
Right.
And it sounds maybe simple or simplistic, but it's so different than thinking, oh, I need to get something from this audition.
Right.
Instead, I really have enjoyed sort of turning that around and going, no, I'm coming into this room and this door has been open to me because I have something to offer. And we'll see if it lines up with what's going on and all that. But my job is to bring what I have to offer and to represent that in the audition room as best I can.
Yeah.
Because I know I have goods. So, any person who's going into an audition room hopefully has to contact enough self-esteem about their work, for sure, to be able to say that believably to themselves, right?
Well,
but so long as you have that, you have everything you need besides your preparation of the material to have a good audition.
Yeah, you have to be confident. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
Yeah,
and we could
such
sense
a funny word for me though, Lauren. Like, I feel a million kinds of ways.
Yeah.
But for me, it's different knowing that I have something to offer. Sometimes what I have to offer, certain roles I audition for, is like representing a real lack of confidence, right? Like a lot of characters don't have the self-esteem or whatever. So that can be confusing for me. I don't rev myself up for confidence. I just know deeply that I have something to offer, and that'll either match up or it won't.
Hi, Barb. I'm just saying hi to I'm sorry, really quick. People are saying hi. Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're interviewing LeeAnne Hutchison right now. If you're listening, we're talking about the business of show. Kev, you have a question?
Do you watch TV much?
Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, my God, I'm watching Unbelievable now. Have you guys tuned into that show?
No, because I'm doing Handmaid's Tale. I'm binging The Handmaid's Tale.
I'm so about Unbelievable now. It just got
I have to start
came on at Netflix. Boy, that is beautiful. And Merritt Weaver from Nurse Jackie and Toni Collette are the 2 main women.
Oh, I love her.
Well, yes. I was going to say, like there's a commercials, like the Progressive commercials with Flo. I don't know if you know that actress, the woman who plays all those like comedic improv.
Oh, Flo!
Wow, we know Flo.
Well, there was a written interview done with her like several years ago about how she's gotten to be, to where she is in her career, and her thing was that it's more about being persistent than it is about wanting it, or because she auditioned for 10 years before she ever got seen for a national commercial like that. So I feel like a lot of artists lack the people who don't go all the way. I feel like, do you feel like that maybe it's more about persistence than motivation when it comes to auditioning and getting work?
Yeah, I think that showing up continually, even in the face of rejection, which is just really just a definition of the persistence that you're talking about. It definitely, it definitely tests anyone who pursues this field, right? It's a big litmus test for how deep is your love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just love, but how deep is it in you? This wanting to make something in this way, as an, whether it's pursuing commercials or pursuing plays, work in plays or in movies or TVs or TV, for sure, the amount of times, I mean, to some degree, it's a numbers game. A lot of people will say that, right? The whole audition thing, like you have to do 200 to book one, or depending, maybe for commercials, or yes. And that process of playing the numbers and understanding that it is to some degree a numbers game. You have to show up enough times before the one that will choose you or cast you or hire you will come your way. Does take a lot of persistence.
And I do feel like a lot of younger artists, because I work at a university and stuff, and
yes.
I have a friend who's a musician, and his niece gets really discouraged going into auditions because she gets turned away too much. And it's like, in this world of instant technology and immediate instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's like people, I feel younger artists are having a harder time grasping that and pushing through the sludge. And me personally, when I get rejected for something, I'm like, great, I'm going to keep pushing harder. Like it feels
well, we were just talking because we just went for a walk, and I said, remember what is in this. I firmly believe in this, and people look at me like I'm crazy. I mean, yeah, we get rejected. I'll have I'm a human. I'll have a feeling of like, oh, that's a bummer, but I try and allow myself only 24 hours to wallow in anything. And when I'm wallowing, I own it. I'm mad. I'm sad. And then 24 hours happens and poof, it goes away. And I was like, well, the universe was working for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, rejection and recovering from rejection, you bring up a kind of a profound thing. It's a real psychological process.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's lots of expressions that don't help us, like just, snap out of it. Right? Or get over it. It's like, okay, yeah, but really, not that it necessarily is as long as a grieving process when someone dies, but the process of being like, learning how to move through a process of rejection in a healthy way without getting stuck somewhere in it or without repressing what it really brings up is a big thing that took me back to therapy once. I mean, I've had a couple of amazing therapists, you guys, and I don't think I would still be in this, able to make this art in a healthy way if I hadn't met both of those people and worked with them for a significant amount of time. I mean, because the inside game of the situation is huge. It's just as big as your talent, which is sort of what comes out of you, right? But how it moves around inside of you, the whole thing is, and being able to let the rejection flow through you, which is, I feel like, what you're describing, Lauren, that, for you try to let it be a 24-hour process or something, but without squelching what it really makes you feel, right? Because otherwise that will build up and then that'll bite you in the ass. And we're like how to be real about it.
Yeah, I own it. But
also let it pass through you and not become an embittering process.
Well, we need sadness to be happy. You need pain to feel good. Otherwise, you're just kind of walking in space. So I've learned to embrace it. I also think my age, has helped me realize, getting a little older, a little wiser. Things that once bothered me, I'm like, whatever. But again, I own my humanness. And I had a therapist that was once like, your feelings are your feelings are your feelings. Because I've had people tell me my feelings were wrong. And I'm still kind of working on accepting that if I feel a certain way, I'm not wrong to feel the way. But what is my reaction to it? It's not the feeling, it's what my reaction to it is, So that's what I work on for myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then also I feel like as actor artists, we have this opportunity, no matter what we're going through, to sort of open a doorway between that thing that's bothering us in life and our work.
Yes.
And then that gets to play out in sometimes, that can always play out in some way, actually. So for me, also a huge piece of longevity, like really sustaining a good feeling about being an actor, is I'm always, if I'm not doing a play, I'm always in a class of some kind. I have a class, my husband and I take the same one. We have an acting studio that we go to that we just love, led by this guy named Ragnar Friedunk. I mean, he's, this great guy. And we love to show up there, and we notice that the actors who do that get to keep turning the material of their life and how they're feeling in life into their work. And as actors, we get to do that the same way musicians do, the same way poets do, the same way writers do, really. But when I look around, I notice sometimes that a lot of actors I see are not. When they don't do that enough, they start to feel very depressed. You know, and it just can't be only in the audition room and only when I'm working, is what I'm saying. I have to kind of keep a bridge going between my life and my work all the time.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah, no,
and when I lose the way that it's this beautiful outlet for me to like put my life into this art form, then I start to feel not so good. But as long as I do that, I really enjoy it.
I love that, and I love talking to you. I feel like I could talk to you on the beat, like call you on the phone and be like, "Hey, can we chat for a little bit?"
Absolutely,
I'm having a moment.
You know, you inspire me. You just, you guys, I love it. You're just, the idea of doing things in a grassroots way is also so healthy for us.
Yes.
As people who want to connect with our community in a certain way, and just to do it, just do it.
Well,
right?
That's why I started the show, because I wanted to connect with other artists. I want artists to feel like they have a place, a platform where they can talk, promote themselves, express themselves, because people don't realize, I think people, as artists, they don't take us seriously. I mean, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
You know what? They don't take us seriously because I'm not going to work every day from 8 to whatever, but what I'm doing, what you're doing, what Kevin's doing is important work. It's more important than people realize. So I'm so grateful that you came on the show today. I was so happy when I was like, how about this week? I got and you were like, let me get back to you.
So grateful to have been here. I'm so grateful for your creative and playful spirits, both of you. It's just the best. And that is something that the world really, really needs.
Oh, thank you, LeeAnne. I'm like blushing over here in Boonton, New Jersey. So is your show sold out, or can people still get tickets?
No, there are definitely seats available here and there. Not completely sold out for all the performances. Okay. I think there definitely are seats available, and we're here doing this through September 29th. Two more weeks, basically, Thursday through Sunday.
And you go to Shadowland Stages, and I guess you can order tickets. I might send him my resume for directing or teaching or something.
You guys should really check this place out, and it's a beautiful drive coming here.
Yeah,
it's
it's gorgeous.
Hill from SUNY New Paltz.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
From that university, right over the mountain from that university, and it's just gorgeous.
Oh, LeeAnne.
You guys, thank you so much. You've just brightened my day.
Well, really quick, where can people find you? I know you're on Insta. Oh, yeah. Just throw out your stuff.
I actually am just in the process of hiring a beautiful young woman to help me get my social media platforms really kind of going full tilt boogie. But right now, the place to find me is Facebook.
Okay, so go to Facebook.
Yes. And it's LeeAnne Hutchison. That's me.
Find LeeAnne. She's fabulous. And I got to tell you, that other F word, I'm kind of so glad that's like our connection, because I love that show. Actually, Keitha just sent me all my footage because I'm putting together. He's actually helped me with my reel.
Yes,
but I was like,
total shout out to Keitha Gentis, right?
Seriously, amazing woman, and she's kind of. I tell her all the time, you're a mentor for me because you give me hope. Because a lot of times we think when we reach a certain age we're done, and no, I am just beginning, and so are you, LeeAnne.
Absolutely, no way. This is the best time in my career yet, and I mean that 100%.
I love that. And you know what? I'm going to come in the city one day, and we should do lunch or something. We could do a museum and hang out. I would love that.
I would love that too, Lauren. We have to do that. And Kevin, I can't wait to meet you in person too.
Yes, it would be fun.
Yeah,
I'm a hoot.
He is a hoot. I
wish I was in the studio. I wish I could have been there in person with you guys today, but this was just great.
Anytime you want, you are welcome. Once you are a guest on our show, if you call me, you're like, hey, I want to come and visit. I am like, I'm so down. I'm so down. And have a great, maybe I'll try and come and see it. Let me see what
I was going to say, you guys, please. I don't know how far of a drive it
It's only like 2 hours, I think. It's not bad.
Really, please come.
Yeah.
Please come. Seriously, I would love that, and I don't think you'd be sorry.
I don't think so either. Thank you. So have a great show tonight, and we'll be in touch, and I will, I'll text you every now. I'll be like, hey, what's going on?
Perfect. Exactly.
We're BFF now, LeeAnne. We're BFF.
Yeah, exactly. My new BFF.
Yes. Thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you guys. Lots of love.
Thanks. You too. Thanks, LeeAnne.
Ciao.
Hey, Brittany Goodwin. Lomo. I'm getting a nameplate, by the way. That says Lomo.
Chris Badam Sammy was watching before.
We had so many people. That was awesome. I love LeeAnne.
Oh shit!
I love LeeAnne. LeeAnne's character. So LeeAnne's character in The Other F Word was this. I don't want to say older woman because she was like my age, but like she was a woman my age. Dating like someone 20 years younger than her. And I was like, I love this character. She worked in a theater and she was dating one of the young actors, and I loved her storyline so much. And she was the sister of the main protagonist in this series, and I was so taken by her. I loved all the women. All the women were so beautifully cast, but for some reason, LeeAnne, I was so drawn to her. Her acting style, her character.
She sounds like a fun person.
Yeah, I loved it. So, yay, love you, LeeAnne.
Aww.
I love you. We're seriously getting together. And listen, it happens with me. When I say we're getting together, we are getting together. But I have to go pick up my kids.
And I have to go home.
But I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Yes.
We got some stuff going on, super secret stuff we can't announce
we can't
yet.
talk about
but
it.
It's going to be super fun. And we'll be back next week. Danny should be back. We have Sammy K coming in. I think he's bringing his guitar.
Beautiful.
He's a great musician, LA based. Actually, he's kind of like been bi-coastal lately. Then some other fun interviews coming up. So tune back to us. Chew back. I just love using that word. Chew back with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.